Be on time.
So you look official. So you look like you know what you're talking about.
No, so I can see the paper. Calling to order the Board of Selectmen regular meeting of February 3rd, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. If you'd all join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes of January 21st.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of January 25th, 2025.
And I will second that as you were not here, correct? Here. All right. Excellent. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Those abstaining? Aye. There we go. Good and welfare. The reason we have moved good and welfare to the beginning here is because the Board of Selectmen would like to recognize Mr. Miller and Mr. Miller. If you come on up here for just a second. Is there a good place to stand where we can be in focus? Let's come over here, I think. We're far enough away that. Is the camera gonna come over here? Here we go.
There you go.
That's terrific. So. The town would like to thank you for your meritorious service. I'd like to read this if I could. On noon on January 3rd, 2025, an elderly resident became confused and wandered away from his home. As day turned into night, a massive search by state police and local emergency personnel failed to locate the missing man. Realizing that their familiarity with local terrain could be of use, Austin and Mason took it upon themselves to assist in the rescue. Time was of the essence, as a citizen was not dressed for the sub-freezing temperature. Using their ATV and knowledge of the local trails, they located the man around midnight, alive but suffering from hypothermia. Because of their initiative and efforts, a Willington resident is alive. Therefore, the town of Willington expresses its gratitude and admiration to Austin and Mason for their deeds. Signed, Peter M. Tanaka, First Selectman, G. Matthew Clark, Selectman, and G. Andrew Marco, Selectman. If you guys would like to come up here.
That would be great.
What I'd like to do is, Austin. Mason. Yeah. Here.
Oh, the whole family.
Yeah. Thank you. Actually, Matt, can you stand right between these guys and then we, or between, behind?
Oh, look at that.
Squeeze it in.
Peter.
My mother was a news photographer.
1, 2, 3. Good job, guys.
Thank you very, very much, guys. The town really thank you so much.
Where do you guys live? Lucia?
Yeah.
Where was he from?
Just down the road, about a mile, you know, the old quarry,
Yes, yeah.
he was found on an old access road.
Yeah, he was about 300 meters off.
What's that?
He's about 300 meters off the road.
Well, it's funny how, no matter how many people look, if you don't know where to look, you can
Yeah, it's,
walk right past people.
well, growing up, I mean, you got miles of trail down there.
Yeah,
You know,
cool. You guys right on Eldridge Road?
whatever. A little bit.
Yeah, I'm the guy with the windmill and the pond.
Okay.
Fun, so I'll wait to you.
Oh, yeah.
The gentleman was still conscious when you found him, and
Yeah,
from what I understand, when he got to the hospital, his core temperature was in the 80s.
yeah, when they took his temperature in the ambulance, it was 76 degrees.
You didn't transport him, right? You called somebody?
Yeah, no, because the state troopers were right down the road, because they had passed him.
Okay.
I flattered him strong, but not that strong. Long ways.
Just throw him over the back of the quad.
I know, right?
That's what they did. They hopped on the back and carried him down.
Wow, cool, excellent.
Again, thank you very much. Thank you.
Who said this talking?
Okay, so that brings us, thank you very much, gentlemen. One more thing on good and welfare. Our Assistant Parks and Recreation Director, Chris Kelly, has resigned his position. His family is having some serious medical issues, and he's tied up with transporting them back and forth to the hospital, so he's resigned his position. We'll be looking for a new assistant Parks and Rec director once we hire a new Parks and Rec director. So that brings us to present to speak. Public participation is encouraged. Speakers are limited by appropriateness, staying on topic, and maintaining decorum. Time may be limited to maintain progress. Please request to reserve time during the meeting if you wish to speak to a specific agenda item. Is there anybody online that would like to speak first? Nick?
This is Nick Tella, Myrtle Road, Wellington. First, well, bravo Zulo to those guys for finding that gentleman. So great job, guys. I also wanted to state the FOIA request still has not been fulfilled, even though it's been since I think March that the FOIA department stated to the town to fill it. It still has not been filled. And as we head into budget season here, I know last year the Board of Selectmen failed to uphold to reasonable taxation and they had drastic increases. I hope that they reconsider that going into this next year budget season. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Anybody else? I don't see any more hands online. Anybody in the room? Mr. Blessington?
John Blessington, 29 Mason Road. At the last meeting, I meant to speak toward the WISE issue and it was slippery, so I stayed home and tried to get on Zoom and somehow I couldn't get through on Zoom, so I didn't get to say it. And it's a little late now because the issue's been resolved, but I'm still going to read into the record what I had to say then. And I did a history on the WISE Commission, and that's the Wellington Sustainability and Energy Committee. And it was addressed on the Board of Selectmen agenda of November 5th, 2018, to form it and appoint it. And appointing Soha Hosani, Karen Warner, Bill Luchon, Pam Wheeler, Norman Nadeau, and Carolyn Johnston as members. At the meeting, the first selectwoman Washinsky made a motion to form a committee called the Wellington Sustainability and Energy Committee, comprised of 7 members with staggered initial terms. 3-year, 3-3-year, 2 2-year, and 1 year, and 2 1-year terms, and 3-year terms thereafter. And don't ask me to repeat that last sentence. The committee will be charged with educating residents of ways to increase energy efficiency, decrease environmental impact, and apply for programs through energy providers, the state and federal government. The committee will also assess energy consumption and efficiency in the town-owned buildings and provide a report of finds and solutions to elected officials. Now, the motion passed, even though no individuals were appointed to the committee, and I'm not sure they ever were appointed to the committee. The only meeting held by the original group was on May 7th, 2019, which was 6 months later. Present at that meeting were Pam Wheeler, Bill Luchon, Karen Warner, and Carolyn Johnston. From the context of the minutes of that meeting, apparently the group had a booth at Wellington Day that year. The meeting was filled with discussion of what to do at that booth, and that was about it. Nothing more appears to have happened until May 15th, 2023, when John Tehan was appointed to the committee by the Board of Selectmen. On October 2nd, 2023, the Board of Selectmen appointed William Bonnell to the committee, effective dates from September 18th, 2023 to November 4th, 2026. On January 8th, 2024, a meeting of the committee was held. Present were Don Berg, Pam Wheeler, John Tehan, and Bill Bonnell. John Tehan was elected chair. The next order of business was to, quote, discuss the purpose of the committee and begin the formation of a mission, unquote. Now, on a side note, isn't this a little backward? Shouldn't you have a purpose and a mission before you form a committee? And however, John Tehan spoke about the opportunities. The first one he spoke was a possible solar farm with enough capacity to offset the town's current electrical usage. Now, I've been given to understand that Mr. Tehan makes his living by selling solar panels. Wellington already has a reputation as a laughingstock because of its conflicts of interest. Maybe the time has come to reset the WISE committee if we're going to keep it at all. Can we find people to serve who would not profit from decisions being made? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And
Well, no, why Don Berg wasn't mentioned earlier. I thought he'd been part of that since the beginning.
He wasn't on the original list.
Huh. But nothing you read ever said he was appointed or.
Right.
He just appeared, but he's
I
talking
don't
about
want
it for
to stay
years.
through this whole thing, you.
Yeah.
Feel free to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just had a couple questions afterwards.
Oh, okay.
We'll hang on.
Well, President speaks. good
Yeah,
time.
this is the time to do
No,
it.
no, no, no.
All right.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for coming to the meeting. I see no other hands online. Correspondence, we have no correspondence. Tax refund.
Well, I wanna say
Oh,
one thing.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Every year I get well, I think I communicate with Asplund and Eversource about tree trimming.
Okay,
This year, they sent sort of, they call it a contract, but all it says is Eversource and Asplund will be trimming trees in Wellington again this year, and they asked the tree warden to sign it. So it's not a contract where we have to perform, it's not a performance contract, it's more just like an acknowledgement. Are you too comfortable with me just signing that as tree warden? I mean, even though it says,
I think so.
the rules say only the first selectman can enter into a contract, but this is not any kind of a performance contract, it's just an acknowledgement that Eversource and Asplund are going to be trimming the trees along the power company right of ways.
You're the tree warden.
And I'm the tree warden.
So.
I just
As far as I'm
want to.
concerned, I'm more comfortable with the tree warden signing paperwork concerning trees.
Okay,
And
that's fine.
secondly, I'd ask that you just contact Troy first.
Yeah, it really is.
That's all.
Nothing changed, I will,
Right.
but nothing has changed, it's what they've always
Yeah.
done, now they just have
And
this piece of paper.
I think that we should encourage them to trim more trees.
Yes, and I did talk to Troy about the tree on Old Farms Road.
Okay, good. I knew he was trying to talk to you.
Yeah. That's the
Okay.
correspondence I have.
Oh, all right. So tax refunds. I'll just read it. I move that we refund $57.19 for excessive payments. To Rashani Udahowski.
Good try.
And I sincerely apologize to this citizen for my butchering of the name.
One second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. I move that we refund a sum of $245.45, correction, $245.40 for refund of excessive payments to Mark Silva. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Public Works report. Public Works went out and they were cutting and chipping trees. They checked and cleared catch basins for the rain and snow. They've done vehicle equipment maintenance and repairs, cleaned the garage, fixed potholes on the dirt roads. Sheet rocked and painted the registrar storage room in the town hall. It looks real nice on the inside now. I believe that they're happier with that because it looks real professional there. You can also see now that the walls are white. Installed new ceiling tiles in the common room. We had a number that were trashed. They emptied the trash at the River Road Park. They picked up wood around town that was cut by the tree contractor. It saves us a lot of money when our town crew does that instead of having the contractor do it. Cut and chip trees behind the dog pound, they're clearing behind the dog pound in anticipation of a possible refurbishment of our dog pound if the regionalization doesn't work out. And it may still be regionalized, but with more facilities than we had hoped for, just to spread them out. And then they did plowing and road treatment on the storms. State police report.
By the way, on that plowing,
Yes.
a good job to the town crew.
Yeah.
I drove home in the middle of that storm and he had a column stunk, with a slide all over the place, and I got to Wellington and it was great, so.
Yeah, those guys, left at
Thank
about
you.
9 o'clock this morning, Lou was so tired he couldn't stand up without wobbling around, so he decided it wasn't safe for him to drive anymore. Yeah, I just talked to James, Knight, who was plowing for the state, and they were in the same condition. Calls for service, 267. Which made 267 for this year because this is the January report. There were 24 accidents, 22 criminal investigations, and 106 non-reportable matters that were reported. For a total of 8 arrests. They did 116 traffic stops, 0 on-site DUIs, 1 misdemeanor summons, 61 infractions, 11 written warnings, and 40 verbal warnings. Once again, I've asked that they separate out the highways, but the clerk has said that they would need to review each incident by hand to figure that out. It seems like there'd be an easier way of doing that. I don't run the record session. First selectman status report. We're currently working on some filling our personnel issues. Trying to, 3, 1, 2, 3, at least 4. And, so I'm working with the lawyer concerning the water contract at the senior housing and, FOI complaints, and there was a third thing that I'm currently blanking on. New business, we have no new business for tonight. The budget season is continuing. We've been reaching out to those entities to pay money to, so that we can figure out what next year's costs are gonna be. Then that pretty much that. The Emergency Services Facilities Building Committee, do you have an update?
Just, we're still trying to get a common time to meet with a consultant via Zoom. Just arranging all that is a challenge.
Yep.
And we're
Looking into
we're
some
not trying to
past
delay it.
history of funding and that kind of.
Yeah.
All right. Facilities manager discussion?
Hey, Pete,
Yes,
Ralph was raising his hand.
oh, Ralph, I'm sorry, I didn't look up, Ralph.
Well, you touched on the committee that I involved in, and I wanted to update Andy and the board of a conversation I had this afternoon with a consultant.
Good.
And trying to we're settled on the 27th as being the kickoff meeting with a consultant.
Oh, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Ralph. 27.
Okay. So off we go. That's all.
Thank you for your efforts.
Hey, somebody's got to do it.
And you'd be the guy. Facilities manager discussion, this is still an idea that we are discussing. I think what we need to do is come up with a job description of exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So that we can come up with the appropriate person and the appropriate pay scale. And to see if we can fit it into our budget somehow.
I was online the other day and there was 2 towns that were looking for facilities managers to handle school projects and for town buildings. One of them was, I think, Colchester, so I had those somewhere.
How many how many facilities are there to manage?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7, does that include, or you, but is that, one of them would be the public works compound?
Yeah, Public Works compound,
Yeah,
town hall, old town hall,
yeah,
Boy Scout hall, library, 2 schools,
and
all the fire departments.
our fire departments are not our buildings, but we would be managing buildings we don't own. We would be. Can they manage my house too then? I mean, right, I'm a taxpayer. Yeah. Are you gonna start managing LLCs, are we gonna do all the LLCs or just the ones that provide town services?
Too good, but I think it would be just the ones that provide town
Okay.
services.
That would be part of a contract, we'd have to sort of.
Yeah.
That would be,
And I think that's
I'm not
another thing
against
we
it, I'm just saying.
I know, also we need to think about, I think, do we need to think about the senior center as well?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry,
Right,
I missed one on my list.
I was wondering about that, but,
Senior center is ours, but that complex is split into a number of parts and
right,
some of the parts aren't ours.
that's,
Right, they serve our
right, they
people.
serve our people.
Yeah, but they're already managed by facilities managers
I
from
get it,
out of town, so I
understood,
don't know how much we wanna step on their toes.
right, so, yeah. So,
So the scope of work isn't even
oh, we're
working.
We're pretty good with scope of work, we got 10, I think, right, 9.
It's called 9 or 10. isn't it? So I think that's all I've got on that for right now. I don't want to move that forward. Do you have anything else?
Now, do we need to make a motion or vote on that, or
No.
what do we do? We just,
We need to move forward. We need to work on it more. Perhaps at our next budget meeting, we could add that as a discussion topic, so we have plenty of time to discuss.
let's do that.
All right. Present to speak? Coming back to present to speak, do we have anybody online? Nick?
Yeah, just want to touch upon something with the missing person. I don't know, maybe the board can consider putting some sort of committee together. Oh, are you there?
Yes, we're here.
Yep, sorry, I had a phone call coming in. Some kind of committee with the local residents, maybe heading it up, because I mean, these people know our woods better than the state police do. I mean, they're on ATVs, they know the trails. So it might be wise that the board entertains putting some sort of commission together with like a Cajun, down south, the Cajun Navy, kind of philosophy. Just something to think about. So.
Thank you, Nick. Jim? You're muted, Jim.
Yeah, sorry guys, can you hear me now?
Yes?
Hi, Jim Marshall, Fisher Hill Road. Just a quick comment on the facilities director and town ownership of buildings. The fire departments, should any new construction happen, they would essentially revert to town-owned buildings in concept, as a part of the agreement the fire departments have with the town. So they could be considered a future building fully under the purview of town ownership and direction. Just a comment.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Anybody else? All right, seeing none. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
A second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.